Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! You're saying, Santa, your beard's not fully in and it's not fully gray. It magically happens on Christmas Eve. Ho, 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 ho! Well, Santa has decided I am getting in on this Festivus thing, and I have a lot of grievances, so here goes. First up, these tiny chimneys are no chimneys at all. You know, Christmas 2019 almost went in the toilet because I was busted for breaking and entering in North Dakota. I was released on my own recognizance after I threatened to take back the PlayStation 4 intended for Deputy Browner's, air quotes, son. Of course, I know Deputy Browner actually wanted the PS4 for himself. Like Santa hasn't seen that trick before, and he forged his son's signature. Yeah. You fool me once, fool me twice, you know the saying. Ho, 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 ho. You know, I'm usually too busy to notice anything over Christmas Eve, but I stumbled upon this business of tipping the postman, tipping the postwoman, tipping the person who cuts your hair, tipping the person who hands you Starbucks. Special tips. You know, Santa's 1,000 years old. It's hard to adjust to this gender-neutral thing, so... All right, here we go. The stylist, the barber, everyone gets a tip. But the guy who travels millions of miles every Christmas... Nah, I'm just thinking my operating expenses are a little bit higher. All right, one more for the poll. Let's get to the tips. I usually get cookies and milk. In the old days, it was pretty thoughtful. But now I see too many store-bought cookies. And we're not even talking about Oreos, but generic Oreos. Do you ever notice that Santa doesn't give out generic Legos? I don't do generic. Homie, don't do that. So anyway, I load up a sleigh, travel around the world, go into every house, and you're too lazy to make your own cookies. Maybe Santa needs to enter cancel culture and start canceling some homes. I don't know how to tell you this, but there comes a point where Santa gets lactose intolerant after 6 billion glasses of milk. Oh, and while I have supernatural skills in delivering gifts, leaving milk out for 8 hours usually isn't a good idea, especially when it's in a coffee cup and a cat's been licking on it all night. These elves gave me a wrong size hat, my word. Oh, and what were you thinking giving kids smartphones? You'll notice Santa refused to do that, give kids smartphones. I told my elves if you start making iPhones for anyone under 18, you better find a new line of work. All of these kids keep trying to catch me on camera, usually the Men in Black type tool I use to make them forget gets the job done. And, wiping the moment off their phone. I have to do what I have to do. But sometimes there are kids who just won't give up, and I have to make that 911 call I don't want to make. You know who? Krampus. Not pretty. Even Santa feels bad about that. So get your kids under control, people. I don't care if you have to give them Ambien the night before. Sure, they might look like they got back from Woodstock on Christmas Day, but I have to maintain some kind of security clearance here. You know what I'm saying? Well, now I've got another bone to pick. This politically correct business of making me look like I took time off of procurement and logistics planning for gift giving for 7.7 billion people away to power outage in Southern Europe. Make that 7.9 billion if you get my drift. so that I could be fit and toned like I'm ready to ride a Peloton instead of my sleigh. Now, Elvis would complain to me all the time about his impersonators, letting themselves go just because Elvis had a few bad months at the end. Well, I see where he's coming from in a different way. Drunk Santas are bad enough, but now you have these guys with the beach body. You know what, pals? My house is parked right next to the Arctic Ocean, but I wouldn't call it a beachfront property. Ho, 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 ho. If you want to pay for it, hey, everything's for sale for the right price. So either get fat or fake it till you make it. I'm a bowl full of jelly, not a bowl full of abs. Oh, and enough of the cheap Santa suits. You're tarnishing my image. Don't look at this suit, by the way. That's not a beard. That looks like shaving cream that's dried on your face. Do it right. It's got to be white. I mean, the beard. That's not some kind of undertone thing. Come on. Oh, and on these Dear Santa, I want half of the stock of Best Buy lists. Could you do me a favor and get the darn zip code right? You don't even want to know the words Donner and Blitzen say in reindeer speak. And another thing, I'm going to have to install limits. Santa has a toy workshop. We do the best we can, but we're not Amazon. It's not the North Pole Fulfillment Center. Ho, 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 ho. 7-page lists. You weren't that good, kid. Not going to happen. Okay, let me discuss another huge thing. I've read the complaints that I'm making children feel bad when I put coal in their stocking. It makes them feel bad. Well, why would you think I put it in there in the first place? If I give a future con everything on their list, that's encouragement. Trust me, if it didn't stink up the sleigh, I'd do a lot worse than coal. And now I'm sending the wrong message by using coal. The last time I checked, the average American doesn't have a power plant or a coal-burning stove or an old-school railroad engine in the backyard. But you know what? I'll accommodate you. I'll give you something worse than coal. Merry Christmas, your stocking is filled with Bitcoin. Oh, ho, 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 ho. FTK that, baby. Now, I don't do this North Pole thing for a pat on the back. I sneak into your house, trying to be undetected. But by the same token, I'd like to have a little appreciation. What in the hell do I have to do to be Time Man of the Year? Oh, yeah, Person of the Year, not even a sniff. Hitler, Stalin twice. Richard Nixon twice. The Ayatollah and Putin. Oh, I have some things for old Vladimir this Christmas. Heck, even the computer was Man of the Year. But Chris Flippin' Kringle? Oh, there's time for that later. He'll live for centuries. Well, your time is just about up. I will not accept an online magazine only honor. Remember that. Oh, and I've heard this buzz about making the sleigh a hybrid or electric and possibly kicking the reindeer to the curb. Well, I could have done that years ago, but one, I'm not going to break the sound barrier with a bunch of lithium under my butt. And two, those reindeer aren't just the force that drags a sleigh. They're also like my Secret Service. The sleigh is packed with countermeasures and anti-ballistic missiles. I hate to ruin your image of Christmas, but it's a dangerous world out there. Let's just say Kim Jong-un has received a lot of coal this time of year. And the boy is not exactly a forgetful kind of guy. You know what I mean? If he could, he'd fire a missile right at Santa's bowl of jelly. Ho, 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 ho. So anyway, the old reindeer out there, the boys have gotten pretty good at dodging SAMs, those surface-to-air missiles. And that's the reason Rudolph's red nose is so important. If I only played ball with the CIA and put something else in Kim's stocking, but if I start doing their bidding, then I'd need an ejection seat and Possibly fake passports, new identity. I can't do that. Can't do it at all. Oh, and could someone help me with Mrs. Claus? She says after 1,000 years, my gifts are too predictable. Or it's cheating if the elves make it. Well, I'm too busy. I make gifts for the whole world, and she calls me cheap. I'm going to change my name to Santa Dangerfield. I tell you, I get no respect. Ho, 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 ho. Another thing with Mrs. Claus. Now, I know some of you ladies out there have a Santa fetish. Let's talk about this a little bit. Santa is, I'm a guy who's kind of got skills that could put me in the Avengers. But I don't really like, who wants to hang around the Hulk? You're in a bad mood. Then there's the Hulk and all his, what is it you kids say, negativity? But I got a little problem. The Santa fetish ladies, you come in and there's a gal in some kind of steamy lingerie next to cookies and milk. And, I'm not so sure what's in that milk. But anyway, I got a job to do. I got to go around the world. And ladies, I love looking at you, okay? Oh, don't tell Mrs. Claus I said that. But, Mrs. Claus, she's like, just because she's 1,002 years old, doesn't mean she's different than any woman today. She checks my phone. So please, quit the temptation. Anyway, well, Merry Christmas. Oh, and stop complaining about me on social media. And if I see anything less than a 5-star review, I'm not coming back to your house. Call Bezos, because he's the one you're going to have to turn to. Anyway, it's kind of like the Soup Nazi on Seinfeld. Boy, I love that show. I watch the entire show every Christmas Eve. Gotta love it. Anyway, I will be the gift Nazi on your backside. Let's just say it like this. Ho, ho, ho! No gift for you! I'll be in a better mood tomorrow, I hope.